Hi everybody, welcome to Play with Andi. This is a new series that we are just starting this week, the beginning of 2021. We thought it would be a great time to talk about activities you can do with your babies and toddlers while you're at home. Each week we'll focus on a couple of activities and I'm going to share them with you. They're all things that you may or may not have at home, but hopefully they're simple things that you can find at your house. And then we'll also talk about what skills they'll be working on while they're doing those specific activities. So today we're going to really focus on our fingers and our fine motor skills. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what I like to call a hide and seek box. This is just an empty Kleenex box. When my children were itty bitty, they loved to take things in and out. So lots of put-ins, lots of things. You could dump buckets of toys out. So that happened a lot at my house. I don't know if you've experienced that with little ones, but having an empty tissue box is kind of cool because it's a little bit tricky to get your hand in and out because it has this plastic around it. Now, if your baby, this was too hard, you could certainly take the plastic out. So take a tissue box and then you can just fill it with little toys. So I have some little Fisher-Price characters. I have a little duck. You can just stuff the box full of things. So you can put any kind of toys that you have at home inside the box. And then I like when I'm trying to get a baby's attention or a toddler's attention or even a preschooler's attention. I want to make some noise. You want to get them excited. Oh, what's in there? Getting really excited and wondering what's in there. And then you can place your child on the floor, on the couch, or maybe even their high chair. And give them this box and they can take their time and explore each item that's in the box. And once they take them all out, then you can put them all back in. You can practice putting in, which is also a really great activity. So you can work on vocabulary too with this, talking about in and out. But filling this with items that your baby might like. You could even maybe put some Cheerios in here. Make it really exciting for them so that it gives you maybe a moment to load the dishwasher or maybe even find a minute or two by yourself so that they can be playing and actively engage with a safe activity and then you can get done what you need to get done. So that's activity number one. The next activity we're going to talk about is one of my most favorite things. So this is an old ice cream container. I'm sure this came from Walmart or Deerberg's or someplace, just a ice cream container. I like this one because it's very sturdy. It has a good hard lid. It's good hard plastic. And what I did is I took this container and I cut a hole in the lid. Can you see it on the camera? I know it's tricky sometimes. You can kind of see the hole in the lid. I just cut it with a pair of scissors. I jabbed them in there and then took my scissors and cut a hole. And again, I like this container because it's pretty sturdy. But you can use any container that has a lid. So you could use your old butter tub. You could even use like one of those Rubbermaid like take and toss containers. I call them Tupperware at my house. But any kind of container that you can cut a hole in the lid. And then I have these really fun, I got these at Halloween time, but you can probably get them at any party store, or you could use any item you want. These are like little koosh balls, but anything that's sort of small, maybe not a choking hazard, but you can dump them out in a bowl or a tray or even just on the floor. And then you're gonna put the lid on your bucket, and then you can have your child just practice putting them in the hole. For an adult, it may not seem that fun. But for a toddler, baby toddler, or preschooler, this is a really fun, satisfying activity. One thing I really like about this is it has a start and a finish. Now you can play it multiple times, but if you have a reluctant preschooler who maybe doesn't want to do any work, this is great because you can say you have 5 more, you have 4 more, you have 3 more, and then when you're all done, you're done. The activity is complete and it's all self-contained. When my kiddos were little, I had a little tiny version of this that I kept in my diaper bag. So, before COVID, I would throw this in my diaper bag, and if we went out to eat, or maybe even at church, or times where my children needed to sit and be quiet for a few minutes, this was a great way to entertain them just for a couple of minutes. And you can use any type of container and any type of put-ins. As they get more advanced, you could even use something simple like pennies, or beans, or little popcorn kernels, whatever little thing that you think your child could do. I like to start with something big and safe for babies and then move smaller and smaller as they get older to really work on those little fingers. All Our last activity today is focused on their sensory system and using their fingers for squishing and squeezing. So what we're going to use, I have freezer Ziploc bags. I recommend using a freezer bag just because it's a little bit more sturdy. I obviously buy the generic. I think these probably came from Walmart. But just a nice heavy duty bag. And you can use a snack size, a gallon size, a quart, even just a sandwich size, whatever size bag that you have, it doesn't matter. You're gonna open it. Now, if you have a preschooler who just loves to help you, this is a great activity for you to do together. If this is for a baby, you can just put it together and then you can introduce it and show them. So my big Ziploc, and then at the dollar store, I bought this hair gel. Now I bought clear, but you can find any kind of gel, or you could use pudding, or I don't know, you have to get creative on what you could put inside your bag. So take your bag and you can squirt as much or as little as you want into the bag. If you have a little one that wants to help, this is a great activity. They can work on strengthening those fingers by squeezing. And again, you can think about vocabulary that you might talk about, squeezing and in and out, and ooh and yucky, and whatever words you can think of. So you're just gonna squirt amount that you choose into the bag. Now, you could leave it just like this, and this would be a super fun activity, but I like to dress things up a little. So I was looking around my house for something I could put in there. I bet you have something at your house that might work for you too. And I found, I guess these were left from Christmas, but some itty bitty pom-poms. Can you see them? They're kind of neat. But you could use beans or beads or glitter. Even food coloring would be kind of fun. So again, this is a great time for you to bring your little one in to help you. But you just plop those in the bag. Now, if it were me and I was giving this to my child, I would get some big fat packing tape. So first you want to get all the air out, seal the top, and I would get some big fat packing tape and I would seal the top. Today my house is under construction because we're getting new floors, so I couldn't find my roll of tape, but no big deal. I don't have any babies at my house today, so I'm not going to worry about sealing it, but if you were going to give this to a child, I would recommend sealing the top of this bag. So once you have everything in your bag, present it to your baby and allow them to squish and squeeze. You can draw in this, but it has all the little textures of the pom-poms in there. You can put some food coloring and do squish and squeeze with different colors. You can practice naming your colors or mixing colors. This would be a really fun activity for pretty much any age. It's a great squeezing thing. Now, another fun thing that I like to do with these is have multiple with different textures inside. But if you do that, then you have some variety for your child to play with. Another fun way to really engage your baby with this is you can actually tape this down to the tray of your high chair or maybe to your table. So you tape it down and then they can actually use their finger to kind of draw and use their one finger. So using that one finger isolation is a great pre-writing skill. We can always be working on that with our children. But if it's taped down to the tray, then they can actually squish and squeeze. If you're gonna do that, I recommend maybe putting a little color in there so that it's got a little bit more interest than my clear. But that's a really fun way to use basically mostly the stuff you have at home to engage your child in some fun, fine motor sensory play. Friends, thanks so much for joining me today on Play with Andi.